so excited. We got to remember this. And the last thing I said was, I would like to see our missions increase. I would like to see an increase in our missions. And boy, did God do it. As you know, David Lane is our missionary in Guatemala. At age 21, he sold everything, and he's been down there for about 18 months. He's going back tomorrow. And I've asked David to come and share with us some incredible things that's happening in Guatemala. And maybe he might even tell us some things that he's learned. But anyway, would you give a warm welcome to David Lane, please?
Well, actually, it's been about 36 months, but we can't remember too well. So. I think it's funny we're preaching about remembering, because we went to Christians yesterday and had lunch, and we walk out the door, and he goes, "Where did I park my car? I can't remember." And now this morning he's preaching about remembering. But no, I've been down there for 36 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, almost 3 years. And so, yeah, no, I'm trying to remember. He threw me off. But no, I'd like to talk to you all a little about the ministry and as well about the message today about remembering. To me, I don't know if any of your all's dads ever told you when you were young, just saying, "Son, doesn't matter what you do or how you learn, just remember where you came from." My dad never said that, but I saw on a video one time, so I thought maybe your dad saw it. Or I think your dad might have said that to you, but it's a good saying because I believe that Jesus and God feel the same way. Because God is a God that doesn't dwell on our past.
Amen.
He focuses on our future. And when God tells me, remember where you came from, it doesn't mean the sins that I no longer live with or Winchester, Kentucky, no matter how much I want to call Winchester home. What it means to me is I'm His child. I'm God's child. Remember where you came from. We do have earthly fathers, but we got to remember that our Heavenly Father is God, and He wants us to remember where we came from, because if you can remember where you came from, living with Christ, it gives you hope about what you can do in your future. And so I love this ministry that God's allowed me to be in, not only because of the Guatemalans involved down in Guatemala, but the way I feel that I can reach the youth here in the States as well. But if David Lane can do it, it's proof that God can use anyone. And for me, remembering back on this year, Whit mentioned his health issue that he had earlier this year. Some of you all know that I had a disease called chikungunya. Try saying that 3 times fast. It came from Africa. It came up from Africa and through the mosquitoes and got to Guatemala. And I got bit by one of the mosquitoes that had it. And what it does is it gives you a fever and you get a rash and you turn red and your joints swell up where you can't move your joints, you can't bend your legs, or a lot of people get put on walkers down there. And so it was a really serious thing. I know a lot of people will say, "You don't know what it feels like to be old yet." But when I had that, I did. I could hardly walk. It was painful. But where we're going with remembering, one thing I really remember that I learned from getting that sick was that God allowed it. And I was wondering, why would God allow something like this to happen to me, or prostate cancer to happen to Whit? I believe that God uses illness to remind us that we're fragile, that we need Him. Because think about our daily lives. How many times do we go throughout our day doing something the way we want to without even thinking, well, does God want me doing that? Or is God happy with what's going on? So if we think we can do anything on our own, imagine if we didn't have illnesses. Imagine if we didn't have bumps and bruises and scrapes and colds and the flu. We would feel invincible and would be even worse than we already now, trying to do things our own way. So one thing I really learned this year was, illness is a blessing, because it reminds me how much I need God. With the ministry this year, looking back, in 2014, in September, we had 3 kids sponsored. And today we have 30 children sponsored. So, also in 2004, the beginning of 2015, so the beginning of last year, I said that I wanted to not only sponsor children, but I wanted to sponsor youth groups and get some English classes started and do a feeding program for some alcoholics. And I started every one of those ministries. And now we have 3 youth groups, averaging 30 plus kids per youth group. So that's almost 100 kids coming through these youth groups. The English classes, I started 1 English class last January. All I wanted was 1 class because I'd never been a teacher before, or not in that essence, not in the classroom. And so I started 1 class, and today we have 3 classes. We have children's English class, adult, and adult level 2, the ones last year that passed on this coming year. So instead of 1 English class, instead of just kids being sponsored, we've got 3 English classes, children being sponsored, 3 youth groups being sponsored, and an alcoholic feeding program that has been an absolute blessing for me. One of the biggest problems with feeding programs in a third world country is you start it with the means that you have to feed maybe 15 to 20 people, and then the next week when you do it, 60 or 70, 80, 90 people show up because it's free food. So that is the only activity of my ministry that I don't want necessarily growing in numbers yet, and it hasn't. The whole year that we've done it, we've had 12 to 15 alcoholics show up. It's been the same ones all year. And I've seen, since that program started, I've seen 1 alcoholic in church. I've seen him go to church on a regular basis, and another one completely turned his life around. I mean, he's clean cut, he's got a job, he's going to church now. So 2 out of 12, 15, statistic-wise isn't that much, but you know as much as I do that, if you can change 1 life, if God can use you to save 1 soul, it's worth it. So what I want to thank you all for is that, it wouldn't have been possible without you all. I was lucky enough for God to choose me to be the hands and feet, but at the same time God chose me, whether you knew it or not, God chose you too, because this church has sent everything. I mean, I've got a bag full of Beanie Babies. I've got presents right there that I've got to go take down. You all give on a regular basis, and I've got the prayers that you all have given. We've got Adam Norsworthy and Shane Oldfield already had a ticket to come down in February to see how you all can even get involved more further on, so we can have actual teams coming down. It's just been amazing to me, and a blessing, not only to those Guatemalan children, like I said, but to me. I mean, I was someone that you all would have had 100 reasons not to have faith in. But you all knew that God is capable of changing anyone. And by you all giving to the ministry, it's just kept me fired up. I wouldn't have been able to do it without your prayers and support. So, thank y'all.
36 months, huh? You forgot to say about the 6 baptisms. That, yeah. When we came home, we baptized 6 of the kids, and we celebrated.